Do you believe in OKC yet?
I just think they're really good. I don't believe they're a championship team, but they're just really good. They're going to have a great season, and Shai, can we put him in the top 5 yet? I mean, he's right there.
So I was going to ask you, Shai versus Halliburton. That's kind of
that's
like
funny.
There's an All NBA guard spot. Luka's got one, Curry's got one, but then Shai and Halliburton. It's like, well, wait a second. I only have 2 spots. What do I do?
Oh, Shai
over Halliburton
for me, and I love Halliburton, but Shai is every night. Teams have not figured out how to slow him down. He didn't have a lot of bad nights. He's a spectacular player. What I do like for the league, they're both spectacular people. And I think that's great for our league.
Halliburton, the stuff he's done with Indiana, like to from a leadership standpoint, seems like a 10 out of 10. And Shai's more a little quiet, but what's crazy about that team is it's a tie game with 5 minutes left. It kind of doesn't matter who's on the other side. It's like, oh, I have to go against Curry tonight. Oh, that's Luka. Like, he doesn't care. Durant, Booker together. I'm gonna get my points.
Shai's kind of quiet, sneaky. Yeah. He's not that quiet, but he's kind of quiet. But he's got this competitive gene, Bill, in him. It's an inner thing. When you coach him, you see it. He's a killer. He is an absolute killer. And I think that's a form of leadership for their team.
Well, I got to ask, because your team traded him.
Yeah.
So I was going to those games his rookie year. Yeah. I never saw this. I will never say I even saw one piece of, oh, this guy will average 30 points a game. But we all loved him. And we were like, man, this guy's a real dude. This is a 2-way guard. This guy's something. And when they made the trade and it was all those picks, and I remember doing the pod that night, and I was like, man, the Shai thing is like, that's like a real piece. Like, that guy's really good.
Man,
so what was your reaction?
Well, my reaction was, we're getting Kawhi and Paul George. Was happy. Having said that, I did bring it up, and I did say, man, can we give them somebody else? Like, we cannot give up Shai. I even told Kawhi when he was saying, like, I need another guy. And Kawhi will verify. I kept saying, Kawhi, Shai's going to be a star. But how long? I said, I don't know how long, but he's going to be one. So I think we saw it. We didn't know it was going to be this.
You didn't know it was going to be this. Nobody knew.
Yeah, no one knows that. But we saw greatness, that this dude is going to be, he's going to be a hell of a player. He's a hell of a worker. He's coachable. He's everything that you want in a star player. And we did see that.
So looking back at that Kawhi decision, where he's like, I'll come, but you also have to get Paul George. Yeah. And you look back and it was like, that was kind of stupid. I think Paul George is excellent. No, but well, now you look back because you don't know what Shai, but even Kawhi just won the title. It's not like I got to get a ring this year. He just won, right?
Yeah.
And you could say, like, just go to the Clippers. They have a good team already. They have a good coach. They're going to have all these picks. Like, let's just see it for like a couple months. And then you can decide, like, that in retrospect, that would have been the decision, right?
Yeah.
You forget about the Shai part.
In retrospect, if you could have convinced Kawhi, come, all right, let's see what we have. If we want to go get Paul, we can still go get him.
Yeah, that trade with 19 picks was going to be there.
No one else is doing that trade. So in retrospect, which we don't get to do, but the problem was, we didn't know. And I would listen, I'm not a card player or a gambler. I am on the golf course. But it would have been interesting if we had played the game with Kawhi. Kawhi was basically saying, if you don't get A, he's going to go to B, right?
So, and Ballmer's worried he's going to go to the Lakers, and the Clippers lose out again. They lost out on Kobe in 2004.
Yeah, but we couldn't lose to the Lakers. We're like, you know what I mean? Like, we could not let them get him. I don't believe in my heart that Kawhi would have gone there.
So I don't either. I especially knowing what we know now, it was never going to happen.
I think he was coming to us all along, but he had all the cards. It's funny, Bill. He came to my house. Like, I had that house in Malibu at the time, right?
Yeah.
I was the only house that he came to. He didn't go to anybody's house in Toronto. He met the Lakers in a hotel room. Wouldn't even go to their facility. Yet he came to my house, right? And I kept saying, he's telling us what he's doing.
Right.
He's telling us we have him, but he had all the leverage, and we had to bite for sure.
Yeah, in retrospect, you could have done we tried Paul George. They just wanted too much, but we promise we're going to double down. Because at that point, you had Shai, who was going to be in year 2. You still had Gallinari, who was still a really good rotation player at that point.
Very solid. Yeah.
But in general, I think you just won. Lou Williams, you just won 48 games. You're just going to add Kawhi. I always thought, I just don't see him going with LeBron, and I just don't see it.
No way. He's too competitive. Say what you want about Kawhi missing games, but Kawhi's a competitive dude, Bill. Like, there's no way he wants to be better than LeBron. Like, that's how competitive he is. I just could not see him joining the Lakers.